Welcome back here to the Common Game today in deck number 1010. Wow. We're not going to talk about Caelorna Coral Tyrant. Now, this is one of the Ether Drift uncommon vanilla legends. This is a blue one. For 2 mana, we get a 0/8 octopus. That's it. So, you can go with Defender, you can go with Octopus or Deep Sea. I've seen a lot of people go Octopus Tribal. But I decided to do a generic blue artifact deck. Because at the time I was building this, the unbannings came out. So, we'll get to that in a minute. First, we're going to start like we always do with our ramp, shall we? And we need a bunch, and there is a bunch here. So we have Soul Ring, Sapphire Medallion, Arcane Signet. I know what you're thinking, it's a one-color deck, but it is an untapped blue source. Thought Vessel, very necessary. Midnight Clock, love the clock. Sky Diamond, Gilded Lotus, Thran Dynamo, Felwar Stone, Commander's Fear, Chrome Mox, Worn Power Stone, and then we get into the non-artifact High Tide. Gotta have High Tide. Now is a good time to show the off on a tangent. You know me. High Tide is great to put on the Panoptic Mirror. Now that it is unbanned, High Tide is one of my favorites. Some of my other favorites are Show and Tell. Show and Tell every turn. Why not? I played this a couple days ago and put Evacuation on there. It's not ideal. Because I kind of needed some creatures to hang around, but it bought me enough time to develop against the big-time token decks that were at the table. I like the Step Between Worlds. It's pretty much a time twister. You put that on there, and you get everybody gets a new hand every turn. And then, yes, I did the thing. I have done the thing. Temporal Manipulation, Capture of Jing's out, and Expropriate. I've never put Expropriate on it. I feel like that would tarnish my soul a little bit. But I have put the Capture on there. Just simply, the game was progressing to the point we were well past turn 12, 13, and we were ready to go. And so I just imprinted it on there, and I was like, okay, we good? And they're like, yeah, we'll start another game. Anyway, back to ramp. As foretold, it's slow ramp, yes, but it's one of those things that you just, and it's a counter player's best friend, because it says once each turn, X or less. So once you get up to 3-4 counters on it, all your counter spells are free. Then, of course, we have Omniscience, also known as Ultimate Ramp. I don't know. It's kind of hard to consider it ramp because it is 10 mana. We are playing with the Show and Tell. It helps. But let's look at card draw, shall we? Before we do card draw, there's one here that is Future Sight. Y'all know I love it. You know, Gavin loves it. But this is not card draw, but you get access to more cards, so I count it. Ristic Study, Mystic Remora. Now, Teferi's Ageless Insight doubles your additional draws, and that's really great for things like Frantic Search or Windfall. Oh my gosh, I drew 12 off of a Windfall. It was a beautiful thing. Of course, we have Impulse and Stroke of Genius. I really like Stroke because it's instant. This tends to be a big man attack, and I have used it to fill my hand. I have used it to mill a person. A late enough game, somebody else was playing that Mind Skinner deck, and the Mind Skinner player had died, and their deck was, I don't know, 15, 20 cards, and just took care of it. Now, we got an other category here. There's a few enchantments here I really like. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of another non-land permanent. So you can't copy lands, but you can totally copy a Blightsteel, right? The Unstoppable plan, untap all non-land permanents you control, copy enchantment, just because there's a lot of good enchantments out there. Deluge, tap everything without flying. It's kind of a more defense than anything else, kind of like propaganda. Now, Thrix, your big stuff is cheaper and can't be countered. That's nice. Force Fruition, because it's funny, that's why. And there's a copy enchantment in the deck, so... now we're going to get into the dirty. Training Grounds is in here for one creature and one creature only. You know what it is. Say it with me. Memnarch. So, my ear started ringing. Is that my ear? Oh. Anyway, Memnarch. 3 to make, 4 to take. Right? With Training Grounds, it's 2 to take and 2 to make and 2 to take. Really, really good. Now, me personally, if I've got something like the Unwinding Clock going and you can do it every turn, I will start with taking any blue sources of mana I can find, because that will help me take more stuff. Yeah, I woke up and chose evil this morning, guys. But also, Michelson's Lattice makes everything an artifact, so you don't have to use the mana to make them. You can just 2 mana take them. I don't really get this a lot. I'm sure you've noticed there's no Fabricate or anything like that. Yeah, if it happens, it happens, right? But now, here's the dirty. You saw all that artifact mana, right? Well, we're going to need that. Because if we have the Michelson's Lattice in play and we play March of the Machines, all lands die forever. They become artifacts, and then they become artifact creatures with power toughness 0, so they can't even play a land and tap it for mana on the way out because it's sick. And that sick is the best. Yeah, this whole thing is sick. So we've got our clock and our all of our artifact mana, so we can steal what's out there. They're not playing anything else. Typically, it's a lock at that point if you've got your pieces in place. And if not, I mean, you wouldn't bother playing it anyway, right? Darksteel Forge just keeps Memnarch alive, and, well, all your stuff, essentially. We have Psychosis Crawler because y'all know me, and I have a penchant for that card. You're going to be drawing, so why not deal some damage and have a big creature out of it, right? Tezzeret, OG Tezzeret, untapping those 2 artifacts. Don't really care about anything else. Well, over the years, I guess I've used that -X a couple times to go get a Soul Ring or a Mox or whatever. Master Transmuter is great, because you've already seen a Mox and you've already seen a Blightsteel. So if somebody puts out a Master Transmuter out there, it needs to go. It really does. Scrawling Crawler, same thing. Opponent draws a card, they lose 1 life. You saw the Force Fruition. Sculpting Steel, it's a Sculpting Steel artifact deck, right? I mean, Filigree Attendant, just big flyer. So now let's look into our removal suite. Oblivion Stone, it's pretty good removal. It is really busted if you have the Unwinding Clock, I'm just saying. Really, really busted. Oh, we got one of my personal favorites, and I'm going to knock the camera and do all the things. Capsize. You know I love Capsize. To me, when I build decks, I put Capsize. I build decks in when I lay them out in mana cost, right? So this is a 6 mana card to me. It is, just hands down. We've got another personal favorite, Imprisoned in the Moon. Yes, I have the Cyclonic Rift, and all the rest appears to be counter magic. But let's start with Hinder. Hinder, of course, counters a spell, puts it on the bottom of their deck. And then, you know, I had a slot left, so I was like, Tunnel Vision. You name that card, you just countered it and put it on the bottom of their deck, and they mill till they hit that card. Yeah. Here again, if it happens, it happens. If not, so far in playing this deck, it's almost happened. I hindered something, it went to the bottom, and by the time I had drawn the Tunnel Vision, they had shuffled via Evolving Wilds. So, yeah, there was that. But the counter magic suite here is pretty normal. Swan Song, Pyroblast, Negate, Counterspell, Flare of Denial, Flusterstorm. And then I only have 3 non-basic lands. A Cycle Land, a Rogue's Passage, because sometimes you got to get that Blightsteel through. And then the Reliquary Tower, because of all that card draw. And that is it for Caelorna. Yeah. It's very unassuming, but you know what? That only works one time. It only works once. But that is it for today. I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you so much. But it is time to shuffle and cut.